A lot of people talk about artificial intelligence. AI won't take your job away, but people that use AI will take your job. Nobody's done this before. It's a chance to do it for the first time. We are at this point where we can design what our jobs should look like, but you have to come in with the right mindset from the very beginning.
Meet Teresa Eastwood-Kiefer, Regulatory Data and Content Leader at Roche. With over 18 years in pharma, driving the use of generative AI and automation to get life-saving medicines to patients faster.
From our time together and the accelerator that we did together, what have stood out and stayed with you that have helped you as a leader?
Things started changing within me as a person, as a colleague, as a leader. I really felt confident as an individual, as a contributor. A lot of it is to do with just being open to experimenting, but then having an open mind about what you could possibly imagine as being a future that you would want. We have to try it. The timing to try it is now.
Your mindset shifted. You took the freedom that you have and proactively decided, I'm going to make my mark here. How do you affect the mindsets of others?
That's a great question, especially in the realm of artificial intelligence, where
Welcome to the Accelerating Digital Adoption Podcast. I'm Jake Herway, Managing Partner at Value Add Group, leading healthcare innovation. And today I am so excited to be joined by Teresa. She is the Regulatory Data and Content Leader at Roche. Hello, Teresa.
hello, Jake. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, excited to have you.
Likewise, excited to be here.
You know what? It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. We've done so much together in such little time. And I know there's going to be a smile on our face the whole way through this, but just the same, I have a quick tune, if you don't mind me playing it, and feel free to dance along. The hope is that it brings a lot of joy to both of us. You ready?
Go.
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. There it is.
Powered by Riverside.
This is the vibe I like to feel here. Yes.
Was that your tune or was that
It's
AI
Riverside.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the tune that the platform gave me. It was my favorite one of the options that they have.
It is very cool. Very, very chilled. And we could have played it the whole time.
Exactly. Just play it in the background. You and I have talked music a handful of times, haven't we?
That is true. Very true.
Yeah.
I love music, continue to love music. And we were talking about like the next generation, right? And how we're also spreading our music to the next ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
It has the power to uplift, inspire, and create hope, which I think that we all need, but especially the next generation coming.
Yeah, definitely. We were talking about that in terms of also the lyrics for the new generation, how to keep them uplifted and in such chaotic times, right?
Exactly right. Yeah, beautiful. Hey, so it's been too long since we were together, but I would just be curious, especially because it has been so long, from our time together and the accelerator that we did together, what experiences do you remember? What have stood out and stayed with you that have helped you as a leader?
Yeah. So what's it been now? Like exactly a year and about a month
A year?
since we.
Yeah, it was last May, actually. So we're into July already of
Yeah.
25.
Yeah, definitely. So maybe I can just give a little background on what that whole experience was about, right? But we met over several weeks ahead of actually coming together face to face, right? In the Moab digital cohort. And in the weeks leading up to it, there was a lot of like prep work and discussions ongoing with some of the other folks that joined us. And I found that really helpful, but it was only when we really got together during that dedicated week in Moab where just things started changing like within me as a person, as a colleague, as a leader. So it was really during that week where we were tried and tested in many different ways, and I really got to learn more about myself. And I think what made that whole experience quite special for me personally was just having that space, right? In that week that we were together, we were removed from the day-to-day work, and we had a chance to be outdoors in a beautiful environment. Can't beat it, Moab, Utah, right? And in that space, just to gather around and think as individuals, as leaders, as healthcare professionals. I think this really made the difference. The weeks leading up to it were equally powerful. We had a chance to bring all our data together to discuss, but being removed from the day to day, right, and having that out of world experience, let's say, really stood out for me. You also made me try driving for the first time in I think it was like 25 years. And it wasn't just driving, it was like intense Jeep, the downhill driving, right? So
Yeah,
that
over rock and rugged terrain. Yeah,
totally took me out of my comfort zone.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so obviously a deeply meaningful experience. Can you pinpoint something that you've taken from that experience and brought back with you? And how has it helped? How has it made a difference? How have you applied it?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, like one of the key takeaways that's coming out of that experience was confidence. So I really felt confident as an individual, as a contributor, and as a leader that I had something really worth sharing to the rest of the organization, industry world, right? And that was thanks in large part to just sharing our experiences working with digital technologies, with AI, and having this platform with this group of different leaders to know that I had a lot to contribute and a lot to share and give, right? And I think for me that moment where you and Justin can just pivoted the agenda and said, stand up here and share your AI experiences and teach the rest of the group what you're doing with AI. It just kind of blew my mind. I was like, wait, I have something to teach. And that was the whole part of like where, the whole experience of being a digital athlete and being able to understand that it's a muscle that we have to train, that no one knows that much more than someone else, and we're all learning together. It just filled me with this confidence when I left the digital cohort and came back to the day to day.
And you've been involved in a lot. I've seen your name at conferences. Yeah, I've had your name pop up in work that I've done across multiple organizations, Novo Nordisk, Lilly. You're doing things that have expanded beyond the walls of your organization. Tell me more about how you're having an impact at the industry level with that confidence.
Yeah, and a lot of it is also thanks to the networks that we built, right? It's thanks also to the connections that you and Justin brought my way. I mean, you introduced me to quite a few like-minded people, and that helped to like mushroom out these industry level initiatives. I mean, I think one of the key activities, let's say in the past few months that I've been involved in, is just having these informal knowledge sharing sessions with other folks from industry. So you mentioned Novo Nordisk, right? So we've been having great conversations with Novo Nordisk, Lilly, more recently BMS, and other folks from other companies. We got together and said, hey, we have an industry-wide problem that we're trying to solve with the use of AI, generative AI particularly. We found a big opportunity in the massive amounts of volume of content and data that we produce for regulatory dossiers. And we had an informal session in February of this year. Then I kind of kicked off another session in May where we got together and just said, what can we do at an industry level? So that's been one major activity that we've kicked off a couple of months ago. And then the other one is, of course, that this more recent cohort that you've been leading, Jake and Justin, with the Moab cohort of this year, right, where you've been taking the initiative to think about continuous real-time data exchanges with regulators and coming together as industry to think of a pilot. So I was really happy to hear about this work and to immerse myself and discuss with those colleagues what we can possibly do, like put one regulator together with one pilot and really start to make a difference.
So the first question I have now as I'm pulling together everything I've heard, and take your time as thinking about this, but You've built this confidence. The confidence is translated into doing higher level impact work. Why doesn't everybody, why doesn't everybody go through this experience to have the same outcomes that you're having? Just put yourself in other people's shoes, maybe your shoes before you came. What is it that's getting in the way? Why wouldn't every leader want that kind of confidence and the subsequent impact?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is to do with just the experimental side of things, right? Just being open to experimenting, but then also having an open mind about what you could possibly imagine as being a future that you would want. So a lot of the times we come in to projects or we look at AI initiatives with the lens of, oh my goodness, what do we need to implement in our organization? And we come with a level of like risk averseness. Maybe we've seen it before. I think I was telling you, I've been involved in so many projects that left us a little bit jaded, right? And you come with that baggage and you're already thinking about what could possibly go wrong or what are some of the risks that you need to keep in mind. And I think that's all good, but balancing that with having this experimental mindset, right? That we have to try, and the timing to try it is now. So I think a lot of people talk about artificial intelligence with the lens of, oh, if it's not AI, AI won't take your job away, but people that use AI will take your job. But for me, it's been more of we are at this point where we can design what our jobs should look like. We can design what our workflows and processes can look like. We're part of this group of individuals that can creatively think about how we want things to work and how we want things to be shaped. And that's an exciting space to be in. And I think that helps with the confidence. Nobody's done this before. It's a chance to do it for the first time. And then, dissident, risk averse kind of voices will still be there. And it's healthy to an extent. But you have to come in with the right mindset from the very beginning that you're going to shape this and you're going to redefine or define for the first time what these roles could look like. And that's what I appreciated as well, being on the program with the other folks like Leo and the others who started to say, hey, look, we've got this technology. It's here. It's available. How do we redefine what our roles could look like? How do we think about new workflows? How do we think about efficiency in a different way? And you get into a creative space. And I think that's where you start to build up this confidence as well. Like, well, if no one's done this before and we don't really have a mandate for how to do it or a manual for how to do it, we enter into a nice experimental creative zone. So yeah, I think for me, and this was part of the cohort too, right? It was all about mindsets and behaviors. And we're really in an exciting space with mindsets. We can refine and redefine our roles. And that's the part that I think is exciting.
Your mindset shifted.
Yeah.
You took the freedom that you have and proactively decided, I'm going to make my mark here. What I heard was, if not me, who? If not now, when? Effectively is what you said to yourself coming out of our time together. How do you affect the mindsets of others? Clearly, you can't do this on your own. What are your efforts? How are you succeeding in being able to bring people along?
That's a great question. And I think especially in the realm of artificial intelligence, right, where there's a high degree already of skepticism, trust issues, right? And beyond that, there's people generally worried about their jobs, right? So it is a space that we're operating in, which has a lot of ambiguity and a lot of worry, right? And I can't come in there with a mindset of like, it's going to be amazing. Everybody, we have to work towards developing AI. And yes, it might take over our jobs, but we have to do this and it's the right timing. I think that the only way that I've seen developing these solutions and rolling them out and getting them really adopted and people engaged is to get them involved from the very beginning. So as you're really thinking about where you can apply AI, you get everybody involved in that vision. It's not a place where people can be kind of told that this is what we need to do. It's not a system or a solution that we're introducing to the organization. You simply mandate it and everyone from this day forward, you use it. It's a place that takes community, it takes discussion, it takes redefinition, it takes a lot of reshaping. And so having everyone kind of involved from the very beginning to test it, to try it, to come up with ideas is the only way that I think solutions like these will really, really bring in the right efficiencies. I mean, in a year from today, we can say, hey, I've developed this great AI platform. Now we mandate it and everyone uses it. And people will probably have to use it, right? Because it's mandated. But then will they really be more efficient? Would they have found more efficient solutions? Would they have found more efficient ways to do things? Probably not. So you'll get like the adoption rate up, but you won't get that efficiency gain that you were expecting. And that only comes when people really buy into it personally and have found ways that they can use the technology to their advantage and to reshape their roles, basically. So that's, I think, the only way is like getting them into it and involved and part of it from the very beginning.
I don't know where you're going to go with this because I don't know where I would if I were asked the following questions.
Maybe we just skip to that song again and then
yeah, let's just smile and dance our way through the finish here. But the conundrum I have is I get it. You have to have people involved. You need them to make it theirs. We can't know every way possible that the technology is going to benefit. And so you need it in the hands of people that are ready to experiment and explore how to create efficiencies in their world. We can't understand all those details, but it sounds like so much work and so slow to bring everyone in and get them involved and make them a part of it. How do I don't know how many people, 60,000 people? I don't know what the number is, but if I'm trying to bring the whole organization in a sense of ownership with the digital tools that we bring in, what would you say to me, who I am genuinely stuck at this mountain in front of me of involving people from the beginning?
Yeah. And it's true, right? But I think it's the only way. I mean, you're going to get the early adopters, right, who are going to support you and champion and help you roll out the solution and the processes in the best possible way. But it's only until you get like that mass to really use it on a daily basis that you'll start to see that the processes that you were bringing in, the solutions that you're bringing in to get faster will have that effect of efficiency. And so it will take the time that it will take. It's not going to be overnight. I mean, I think my mom is finally using Facebook after like decades of Facebook being around, but she's a heavy user, right? She's a heavy, heavy user. So if you look at her data versus mine, and I left Facebook like a decade ago, you can see like the differences, right? The laggards will come on board, but once they do, they will really adopt it in a way that was intended from the very beginning. I mean, I suppose like with technology like this, it's going to be ever evolving too, right? And it will get easier. So chances are that I'll roll out a digital AI solution tomorrow. Early adopters will be all in. It will be clunky. It will be hard in the beginning, but they'll put that effort in because they really believe in improving the process, right? And through their efforts, it will get easier for the next group that is involved. And, we have maybe a solution release number 2. It's already improved. It's slightly easier. Let's say the AI output is also increased in its accuracy and completeness. And then you'll get those risk-averse folks who don't really trust the AI output to say, oh, actually, it's better than I thought. Then you have a release number 3, and it's even better at that point and easier, right? And so by the time you get to the laggards, it's like they don't even see the technology. It's in the back end. I mean, it's probably the way that we're going to be releasing these AI solutions, right? It's going to be on a release by release basis. More and more people will adopt it as we go along. It's not likely to be big bang from day one that everybody will use it in the way that was intended. But that's where our champions, right? Our early adopters and champions will help to redefine that new way of working and that process so that it's easier for everyone else joining.
If I could summarize, because you got my buy-in, that was a great answer. And what I heard was digital is not an event, it's a way of being. And so we're becoming through this process. And there's a change curve, an adoption curve that we're following. And if we come in it as a way of being, that we're becoming something, as opposed to a finite event that has to hit everyone all at the same time. Very helpful. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to sustainability too, right? I mean, if we go with a big bang mandate from day one and expect everyone to hit that same level of usage, it's not very realistic. Let's put it that way, especially with brand new technology that we don't know if it's going to be, if we can trust the output from day one, right? So you'll need the diehard people to test it out and support the journey for everyone else. And then, as you said, it just becomes a way of being. So one day, maybe 2 years from now, we'll look back and not know what the process looked like before because it's just become part of our day-to-day, daily usage, daily tools that we use without even realizing that there's AI behind them, right?
It's how we work and who we are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So Teresa, tell me about where you are on your journey and where you're headed. Tell me a little more about your story before we wrap up.
Sure. So yeah, where am I today? So I think I've been one of those curious people, right, for the past few years that has supported the development a lot of these efficiency tools. And I think, in the past, there were questions around how long will this technology be around and what's going to replace it. And so I've always kept my eyes and ears open, right? For one day, I was working on process efficiency, rule-based solutions with robotic process automation. Now I've moved on to generative AI because the technology is here, it is exploding. And now, I released a one-pointed solution, so a solution that would help with the generation of some of our big reports, the clinical study reports. And now my goal personally is to move out of the pointed solutions into really scaling the technology and the solutions to cut across different content types across the enterprise and also to enable more users to leverage this platform. I know that scaling is not easy. I don't have the figure up on the top of my head. McKinsey did a study in terms of like how many projects actually successfully scale. It's probably 10%. So I want to be that 10% that actually manages to scale a full AI platform to enable folks across the organization to use it for their content needs. So that's where I want to be. Not there yet, but we're designing now a platform that will ensure scalability and from day one.
You're going to be part of that 10%.
I hope so. Yeah.
You will. I believe, and I know that deep down you do. And the one thing that I always like to say as we finish our podcast, it's very appropriate, and my advice to you, of course, and to me, is do one thing that scares you every day. If we do
Yes.
that, we progress, and we will be, and you will be part of that 10% that does scale.
Yes. So what's one scary thing that you're going to do today?
To be honest, podcasting is top of the list. But you know what I'm starting today? A book.
Okay.
After my next phone call, I'm writing chapter 1 of Accelerating Digital Adoption in Healthcare.
Fantastic.
And I hope within the next 6 months to have a book published. And the idea of me being the author on the cover scares me a little bit, but I'm ready.
Awesome. I will be one of the first people to buy it off the Amazon or wherever it's going to sell. Yeah.
We'll do great stuff together, Teresa. We'll continue to do great stuff. I appreciate you.
Likewise. Thank you, Jake.
Yep. Take care.
Take care. Thanks.